morning, everybody. It's another brew day finally. So this summer has been a long and hot one. And I've been working a lot of it, but finally got some time to brew another beer. So today I am brewing the El Estupendo Southern Hemisphere Double IPA. So a little bit of story time. The target OG is going to be 1083. IBUs are 68 to 70, and the ABV is supposed to be about 9% when this is done. This particular beer, it was hard to find some of the ingredients, so the shopping list was 15 pounds of Patagonia Extra Pale Ale Malt. I could not get that anywhere, so I substituted for some Belgian Pale Ale Malt. It should be interesting. Not exactly the same malt, but it's a pale malt, and it should, I think it should yield the sugars that I'm going to need for this batch. The hops that it called for were Australian Vic Secret, New Zealand Waiiti, I think it's pronounced, and New Zealand Rakau. So the New Zealand hops, I could not find anywhere either. I looked all over the place, couldn't get them. So I had to substitute those two hops. So I substituted Saz for the New Zealand Waiiti, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maybe somebody can tell me how to pronounce that. And then I got Summit for the Rakau. So, I may not be pronouncing that correctly either, but either way, they're hops. So, I've got it all set up here, ready to go, and right now I am mashing, and I set up a recirculation process for my Home Depot mash tun. So I basically just drilled a hole in the top of the lid, and I ran my little recirculating thing on the inside. I'm gonna get some video here of that happening. And so far it's working pretty good. So it seems to be clearing out pretty nice. I've checked it a couple times already. But anyhow, that's what's going on for today, and we're going to continue with the brew day. Hope everybody's had a great summer so far. I know I have, but I've been working a lot of it, and it's been a hot one, so I've probably lost about 10 pounds this summer just working. So anyhow, let's get back to the brew day. Just want to show you all really quick what I did to turn my mash tun, my cooler mash tun, into a recirculating system. It's pretty simple. I just ran a hose out from the bottom and put this quick disconnect on here, and then I drilled a hole right in the center. Of course, this runs out to a quick disconnect also, and just ran that right through the hole. The hole is perfect size for the tube that's going through. I used it yesterday and it worked great. So just wanted to show you really quick how you can turn your simple cooler mash tun into a recirculating system. And just to show you, this is the pump that I use for recirculating and running the wort through at the end to chill it. So there it is. Okay, everybody, here is the grains and hops that I'll be using for today. Unfortunately, I had to substitute some hops. The New Zealand hops that are on the list, I could not get. I could not find them anywhere. Also had to substitute, normally I like to use Y yeast, but I had to substitute and get some Saf Ale SO4 dry yeast for this particular recipe. So here we got 15 pounds of an extra pale ale malt. I've got a 1/4 ounce of Summit that's going in at T-60. The Vic's Secret, which was the one hop I could get, goes in at 15 minutes before the end of the boil. And then this is a hop stand. This is a combination of Saaz, Vic's Secret, and Summit. And then I'll be using this yeast for today. So unfortunately with this recipe, I had to do a lot of substituting. It just was very hard, if not impossible, to get the ingredients that I needed. But hopefully I got some good information on the web. I looked for substitute hops for the particular ones that I needed, and I got Summit and Saaz. So let's hope this turns out well. Probably won't be exactly the same as the original recipe, but it'll probably still be good beer. So I got the first runnings. First runnings came in around 1090, so that's pretty good. Here's the wort. It looks like the recirculation process is working very well. This is very nice and clear. And of course, I've added a little Abelauer, 12-year single malt. Cheers. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Hot scotchy. You gotta do it every single time you brew. It's really tasty. Oh, good stuff. All right, so it's what, Friday night? Friday night, I just got back from Irish Fest, and guess who showed up at my house?
Hey everybody.
It's Don O.
Right.
So we're gonna do a little tasting notes tonight on a few of the Mashmaker Challenge beers that I've done. This one here is the Neck Tat. This one here is the Throwback IPA. And this one is the Pequod Session Pale Ale, or it's a Session IPA, basically. We're going to try the Neck Tat first.
Okay.
Well, you've already tried some of that.
I did.
Seemed like you're enjoying it.
Pre-gaming.
So we're going to do the Neck Tat first.
Cheers.
Have you had this before?
I have had.
Since some out.
So maybe I've actually had your actual. Maybe I have had this, but I also have had a Bad Weather made a version of it, I think, and then I may have had somebody else's home.
Okay.
Like somebody might have sent it. You know, maybe it was
I
you
did
sent it to Chip or something.
I did send
May
out
have
the
had
Neck
it.
Tat when we were doing the Janet tasting.
I may have had this then.
Okay.
Because it tastes familiar, and it tastes like you would want it to from reading the recipe. You get a little.
I'm going to let you do the tasting here.
Well, you get a little hop on the nose. I don't know if it has a Chinook or something like that, but and then you get, of course, you get the whatever the darker malts are. A little bit of,
there's
roasted coffee.
Yeah, there's definitely coffee in it for sure, or at least coffee notes on the nose.
Right, no actual coffee.
No, there's not actually coffee in there.
Some.
This was
A little bit of bitterness.
This was the Patagonia Negro.
Okay. That might be a dehusked
Yes,
malt.
yes. This was.
But I still feel like that malt gives you a little flavor. I've talked.
It definitely gives you a coffee flavor. Gives you a little bit of chocolate. But this particular beer, you steeped it in cold water. And then you put that steeping liquid into the boil.
Gotcha.
Yes, into the boil at the end, towards the end.
What kind of hops do you got on this one?
This is Chinook, Simcoe, Centennial, and Amarillo.
Can't go wrong with that. Not overly bitter. You made this one a little while ago.
Yeah, this was the first one that I brewed in the challenge. So this is a few months.
Yeah, so
and it's still holding good flavor.
It still tastes nice, but it maybe was a little hoppier.
It was a little hoppier in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but now the roasted malt is coming out a little bit more than it was before.
That's good. Does he call it? He does call it black IPA. Okay.
Yes, it's a black IPA.
No, you must have been happy with that.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with this brew. I was
It's
pretty
kind
happy
of
with
like
this.
I mean, if they call it a black IPA, but yeah, I mean a hoppy stout. I mean, it's not. There's something that would keep it from being a stout, probably because it doesn't have some type of dark malt that doesn't have the roast, the black pad, whatever makes it a stout. But
it also has a lot of hops. Which stouts
like an American
have
stout would have a lot of hops too, but it's very nice.
So anyhow, I guess we finished this one off. If he finished it off, I guess
beat
he
you.
likes it.
I beat you.
Yeah,
I pulled the Chip. I thought I beat Chip last night. We were sampling a beer, and I got done, and I looked. Oh, did I beat you? And he was already. Didn't.
So the next one we're going to taste here is the Throwback IPA beer.
This one's just going down too fast too.
Mm-hmm.
This is in that bottle, right?
Yeah.
So what hops are in this one?
Let me see really quick, just to look up in the light. Yes, this is it. So
this is lighter than.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. This is all East Kent Goldings. That is it.
Interesting. That is some of the throwback quality then.
Yeah, just one hop. One hop, basically.
It's not your Fuggles, but it's your.
So 10.5 pounds of floor malted Maris Otter and 5 ounces of East Kent Goldings.
Oh goodness.
And then a London style, I think I used the Y Yeast 1028 on this one.
That is a throwback. I see the recipes design: English malt, English hops, English yeast.
It's basically a smash. Single malt, single hop, basically. So
I like it.
Yeah. I think it's got a really smooth flavor. There's no off flavors on this one.
The Maris Otter really
one
does.
Of my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it gives it. It's definitely a malt that is unique and that you can just use on its own without needing to support it with any additional malts to give it like more flavor or something like that. The hopping is moderate too. I mean, it isn't crazy. Like even this one, the first one, maybe on paper maybe had like more IBUs, possibly. I don't know, just with all those big American hops.
Right.
Although 5 ounces of
There was no dry hopping in this either.
Okay.
So it was a 90-minute boil. So 2.5 ounces of East Kent Goldings in at 90, an ounce and a half at 30, and then cool the wort, transfer. Yeah, there was a little bit at. Yeah, there was. That would be 1 ounce at T-0.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of sat in there. I let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and then I cooled the wort.
Yeah.
So I did a little hop stand.
Hop stand, yeah, sure.
They call it, yeah. So.
Also very nice.
So the last one is the Pequod Session Pale Ale that I brewed, and this comes in at about 4.5%. The target OG was 1045. I came in right at 1045, so it was perfect. And I got this down to about 1006 or something like that. So it came in at about 4.5, something like that. This is 5.5 pounds of raw pale ale, 1 pound of white wheat, 1 pound of Wireman Munich 1, and 12 ounces of Simpson caramel. Then the hops were 1 ounce of Idaho 7, 1 ounce of Galaxy, and 1 ounce of Mandarina Bavaria, which is one of my favorite hops to use. I love that hop.
I don't think I've used any of those.
I've never done Idaho 7 until this brew, but I've done Galaxy and I've done Mandarina Bavaria, and a couple years ago I brewed a beer for Brew for Good, and we went there and served it. Well, you get this big bag of goodies since you're a brewer for the festival, and one of the things in it was like bags and bags of Mandarina Bavaria hops, so 8-ounce bags. Some people didn't take their bags, so I ended up with about, 32 ounces of Mandarina Bavaria. Wow. And so I started brewing with that. I started making some smashes with that and loved it. So yeah, it's become one of my favorite hops.
I don't normally like the session IPAs or a session pale ale. I'd rather have just a lighter ale that is what it is, and then if I want the hops and the bitterness, I'd rather have the pale ale and the IPA. But this beer does drink very nice, and I think what helps is, I don't know, it doesn't drink too bitter, but I think the Munich and the caramel definitely help make it not seem too dry and too bitter. That's a nice drinking beer too. You're making some good beer.
Sure, we'll have a couple more of these tonight around the fire.
We might.
Because this is an easy drinking beer. I had like 3 or 4 the other night, and I was fine.
Yeah.
It was.
It's nice when you have it. The alcohol is not as high.
Yeah, you can have a few, sit around the fire. Well, anyhow, I'm gonna wrap this video up. It's great to have Dono here today.
Well, you and Jill are very kind to have us crash at the place. I mean, very generous.
And we're gonna have some eggs and bacon tomorrow morning.
Twist the arm. And I brought a couple of homebrews to share too, so hopefully those are well taken.
Oh yeah,
We shall see.
Dono's beers are always well taken. Yeah, so
All right.
thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's a pleasure having Dono here.
Thanks for having us. Make those matchmaker beers.
See ya.
Bye.